Networking is a way to expand your circle of influence. It is a way to figure out who you can influence and who can influence you. Welcome back to Leadership Highway. I'm Coach McCurdy, and this is your fast track podcast to help you 10x your impact, break down barriers, and most importantly, get out of your own damn way. Today, I want to talk about something that happens all the time when someone is in between jobs, when we're trying to grow our career, and that's about networking. Honestly, people, I think most of us get networking all wrong. So let's talk about that. Networking is a way to expand your circle of influence. It is a way to figure out who you can influence and who can influence you. And for most of us, networking is the way we either find business, find a job, find opportunities, find people that we need to hire. We use networking a lot for our business, and that's whether you are a solopreneur, whether you have a small business, or whether you're already established within another organization. So when we think about networking, the very first question I ask is, who's in your ecosystem? And a lot of times people are like, what? Your ecosystem? What's an ecosystem? So in nature, we totally understand what an ecosystem is. We watch the Discovery Channel or the Nature Channel, and we understand that if you're a turtle in a pond, that you've got this ecosystem of algae and other fish and water and all of that. But in business, we have an ecosystem too. And most of the time, we are unaware of all the different players in our ecosystem. So at its highest level, who's in your ecosystem for business? Well, you are in the center of your ecosystem. Who else is there? If you have a team, your team is in your ecosystem. If you work for somebody, that person is in your ecosystem. If you have peers in your job, they're in your ecosystem. So if we were to map that out with you in the middle and all of these people around you, kind of look like a hub and spoke. But your ecosystem is more complicated than that. So if we look at the definition of an ecosystem refers to a community and the coordinating units. So in nature, it's the same as in business, a community and the coordinating units. Guys, I hope this is starting to trigger some things. I want you to like, follow, share, become a member of the Leadership Highway community. I want to think about your ecosystem. Tell me who I missed as we go through this. So there's a lot of people in your ecosystem. There's more than just what you see around you. There's the people who support what you do. There's the people who supply the materials or the technology to help you do what you do. If you're in an organization, there's other departments, other divisions, your administrative support, your operational support, your strategic support, your marketing support. They're all part of your ecosystem. Outside of your organization, it's your customers, it's your suppliers, it's your service providers, it's your accountant, it's your lawyer, it's anyone that helps you in your work or anyone that buys what you have to deliver. Even if you're in a small business, you have an ecosystem. You have others who do what you do. You have a peer network. You have customers, clients who buy your products and services. And those clients use your products and services to service other people so we can build our ecosystem out even farther. We have suppliers who support your work, and we have people who supply the suppliers. We have organizations who hire you and organizations that you hire. All of the people in the organization in your ecosystem have one thing in common, and that's you. So, why is that important? It's important because when we think about networking, we often get it all wrong. I see this all the time. You have an unemployed financial professional looking for a job, thinking that they need to network, and they go to networking events where other unemployed financial professionals gather. Hey, that might be great for a feel-good, but guess what? None of the people attending that event have a job for you. And if someone shows up with a job at that event, you got to get in line, buddy, because everyone there wants a piece of it. How is that supposed to help you? most of the people there are looking for the same thing you are. Imagine if you are a marketing professional, and if you go to an event where everybody there is a marketing professional, guess what? They're not trying to hire you. They're trying to get hired, and nobody there is hiring what you've got. Let's think about this another way. I call this my red fish, blue fish analogy. All right? Imagine you're a red fish. You're a red fish who does whatever red fish do, and you do it really well. You're a great red fish. And let's say that right next to you, there's a pond, a beautiful pond, and it's full of red fish just like you. So what do you do if you want to network? You say, hey, I'm going to jump into the red pond and I'm going to swim with all those red fish. I'm a Georgia Bulldog, so red fish, kind of my thing. So you're in the pond, you're with all these red fish, you're swimming around, you're having a great time. Everybody understands what you do. Everybody knows what you're about. Everybody is just like you. And now somebody comes along and they walk by that pond and they have a treat specially designed for red fish. And they throw it in the pond. What happens? It's a freaking feeding frenzy, people. The fish are going to be going after that. All the red fish want that one treat. And unless you're lucky enough that that treat dropped right by you, you don't even get a chance to take a nibble. Why? Because there's too many red fish in a pond and only one treat. Guys, again, let me remind you, let's like, follow, share. We are going to do more than just one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish here today. We're going to talk about why we're getting networking wrong, and we're going to talk about so many other topics as we go through this season with you. So let's take a step back. Let's hop out of the pond where the red fish are, and let's talk about the pond next to that. There's another pond. It's a gorgeous pond. And in it, there's blue fish, there's yellow fish, there's green fish, and there's a few red fish in there too. So what would happen if instead of jumping into the red fish pond, you jumped into a pond where there weren't that many red fish? Well, I mean, you might feel a little uncomfortable. You might be kind of nervous. You might feel like no one's going to understand you. You might be worried that you'll stand out. Well, I'm going to tell you, good for you. You're supposed to stand out when you network. All of those things are good things. Why? Because when someone throws something in that's only for a red fish, the blue fish get out of the way, the yellow fish get out of the way, the green fish get out of the way, and there's only a couple red fish in there, and those are the ones that get the treat. Those are the ones that get the opportunity. People do business with people they know, like, and trust in that order. We spend a lot of time talking about building trust, but the first thing that has to happen is someone has to know you exist. They cannot like you and they cannot trust you, and they sure as hell can't hire you if they don't know you exist. And if somebody needs a red fish, they are going to look for the red fish closest to them, and that's who they're going to refer the business to. They don't go say, hey, I know there's 3 red fish here, but I think I'll go hop into the red fish pond and interview the 800 other red fish out there. They don't do that. That's not how it works in real life. People know you exist. If they have generally a likable feeling about you, they feel generally positive about you, then weirdly, they tend to trust you before you've even earned that trust. Know, like, trust in that order. Guys, again, let's like, follow, share. I'm wondering if you've experienced this before. I want us to talk about another way to think about it. All right, so now we've talked about what these networking events look like. We've talked about what red fish and blue fish look like in a pond. But now I want you to think about a real life scenario, okay? Imagine that you break a tooth. You're in a new city, you break your tooth, and you need a dentist. What do? The odds of you knowing all the dentists in this new city are pretty much zero, right? But you call a friend and you say, hey, buddy, I need to get my tooth looked at. Do you know a dentist? What does your buddy say? Your buddy says, yeah, I know a dentist. Call Dr. So-and-so. He's great. And what do? You call Dr. So-and-so and you go in and you see Dr. So-and-so. I can't really think of a scenario like that where you would say, oh, wait. Have you interviewed all the dentists? Do you know this is the best dentist? How many other dentists do you go to for things? You don't do that. You reach out to someone you know, you ask them who they know, and then you hire that person. And that's the way it works in business too. Somebody needs a marketing specialist and they ask their buddy, hey, do you know a marketing specialist? And if they know even one, that's who they recommend. Why? Because most of us are too busy doing our own stuff to stop and wonder if the person that we're using is actually the best. And then even if we do wonder it, we don't have enough time to sit there and interview a ton of other people when we already have someone that's working just fine. That's what that fish pond analogy is. If you will insert yourself into areas where there are people who don't do what you do, but might hire people who do what you do, or be in contact with people who need what you do, then when those needs come up, guess who they will look for? You. They won't be looking for the people who are hanging out with all of their buddies in the redfish pond. Why? Because they don't know them. So when you think about networking, I want you to think about that ecosystem map. I want you to think about the community beyond your peers. And I want you to figure out on that map, who are those people and where do they go to hang out? And that's where I want you to show up. And if you show up there, I promise you, your business will grow, your brand will grow, your awareness will grow, and you will figure out how networking is supposed to work. Guys, that's it for this episode of Leadership Highway. I want you to remember there's a ton of people out there trying to make a meaningful difference. I want you to be one of them. So again, I want you to like, follow, share, tell your friends about this. Let's get together. Let me know what kind of topics you want to hear. And remember, I need you to buckle up. It's a shit show out there, and it's going to be up to you to arrive safely. This is Coach McCurdy, and I'll talk to you next time.